We hear in the gospel of a people, particularly the three magi from the east, the Gentiles, seeking a way to understand our world, to understand the mystery of God within their lives. And they seek an answer to a way of life. And so they begin that search of the way of life by following a star. They have a direction and they have a route. But what they come to recognize is that the truth of that way, the truth of their search, is found in three ways. The first one is found in what? Gold. In gold. Not the gold of wealth, but the gold that represents the precious nature of the human person. And so they come to recognize in the Christ child, in the way of Christ, that every single human person has a value beyond price, a value that is given to them by God, a value that enables the respect and the dignity to transcend all boundaries, whether Jew or Greek, male or female, believer or non-believer. Because in the eyes of God, each and every person is precious. And so as the Magi sought that in their lives, so we seek that in ours. The second gift that they brought and they discovered on their journey, on their way, was that of incense, frankincense. Because they recognized that they themselves found themselves in the darkness of a world that is often beat down by the Herods of this world. And that there are so many hurtful things in our world. So many hurtful things that can touch our lives. And we know that. I can look around here and I can see the things, many hurtful things that have touched your lives that I've been able to share with you just for 2.5 years or 5 years. But there are hurtful things. And there are powers that somehow continue to beat us down many times in our daily life. And the frankincense reminds us that sometimes we can get so focused on the immediate that we fail to transcend. We fail to rise above the limits that this world places. We fail to trust the power of God that enables us to rise up, that somehow enables us, like incense, to rise to the power of God and join our lives to the beauty of God within our lives. When we begin to recognize that gift within ourselves, that ability to do that within ourselves, then we go beyond the narrowness, we go beyond the status quo, we go beyond the limits, and we allow the Lord to have power over us. And that power raises us like an eagle. It raises us on high. It gives us that glory, and that reminds us of our sacredness that rises to heaven. The third gift was myrrh, a sign of bitterness, a sign of suffering, but also a sign of healing. And so we recognize that when we find Christ, despite all the bitterness, beside all the suffering that we have to endure, and certainly the Christ child came to understand, our Blessed Mother came to understand, St. Joseph came to understand that the cost of living us, the cost of finding God and being close to God in our life comes at a tremendous cost. It's not a cheap grace. But that self-giving love, that self-sacrifice of self-giving love that might even lead to the cross, the suffering, also brings healing to our families, to our communities, and to the world. And so the myrrh is a gift that is given to us to remind us that we are healers of the world. We are called to be healers of the world. And so if we remember the preciousness of each life, if we remember the sacredness of each life that is bound to God and not to earth, and we remember our call to bring healing, then the world will find its way. It will find its way through the darkness, and the light will guide us to find and allow Christ to find Christ's home within each of us. So we pray that as we continue and we begin really this new year, that we will travel in faith, and that the way will open up to us, and that we will be willing, if need be, to find a new way, to seek a new way within our lives, within our families, and within our world, that will bring peace, that will bring justice, and will bring the love of God to each and every one. God bless you.